I am Patty Rose with the Kershaw County Current, back on the road again for another podcast episode, an interview with one of my truly favorite people. I'm here with Scott Edwards and his son, Colson. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank y'all both for being here with me today and for taking some time out of your very busy schedule. I know it's very busy because you have a lot going on, Scott. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today is all of the changes that are happening in downtown Camden. You have been integral in that. We are sitting in B. Colson's, which Colson is named after you?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
That's kind of fun.
It is. I love it.
And you have grown up in the restaurant business
Yes, ma'am,
with your
I have.
family. So starting with the Hale Street Grill, and then moving over here to B. Colson's. Do you work here a lot?
I do a good bit. I do help out a good bit here. I also help out sometimes at Hale Street a lot, too.
That's awesome. I know your folks appreciate it, and I feel like I have watched you grow up in the restaurants over the last many years. So thank y'all both for being here. You know, Scott, we're looking at downtown development in Camden. You chose Camden for B. Colson's. Now you're investing again. Tell us the name of that restaurant that we can be expecting soon.
That one's going to be called Brilissima.
And what is that concept?
It's an authentic Italian.
Wonderful.
And it's named after my daughter, Briley. So we just made her name sound Italian. So that way they've both got their own. So I'm out of hot water now.
That's right. Don't have any grandkid. No, I'm kidding.
That's right. That's right. It'll be a little while. So we got time. We got time to plan it out.
Well, speaking to the development focus, what made you think that downtown Camden would be a great place to build not one restaurant, but now two?
It's being able to look ahead, as far as when actually Vincent Shaheen and them, we got in contact with each other when he bought this building where B. Colson's is. And coming from Outback Steakhouse for so long, I knew it was something that I could do pretty easily because it's just been in my blood. So that made it a lot easier to do. But knowing that it was something that Camden needed, we didn't have too much. We got some. Sam Kendall's does a great job. They've
Yes.
been here. Salud's is a different type of food, but same kind of concept of a little more of a upscale. But we knew we could use another one. And so we did that with B. Colson's, and it's done way better than we expected, and so we're blessed and grateful for that.
Yeah, I think B. Colson's has been a wonderful addition. And I love Salute, I love Sam Kendall's, and I love all of our other restaurants
Absolutely.
In downtown Camden. But it is nice to have more options. As far as Brilissima, you said it's an authentic Italian. What inspired you to do Italian?
Well, I guess it was just something that we saw that could be used here in Camden that's not here. Of course, growing up through the Outback ranks again, all of us, when you become managing partner, you work your way up through the company, and Carrabba's is part of Outback. So I had a lot of friends that left Outback to go to Carrabba's because they saw that to get to managing partner was a fast track through Carrabba's because they were still growing, where Outback was already pretty big. So we had a lot of them that went over to Carrabba's, and some of them went to Bonefish. So talking with a lot of them throughout the years, because as us growing up through Outback, we all became lifelong friends. So talking, seeing different executions, stuff like that. We got an open kitchen concept here at B. Colson's. I got that from my managing partners that I knew at Carrabba's. That's what they had. So I tried to figure out what the hiccups were and what were good about it and those kind of things. So that's really where it came from. And
so will Brilissima have, or is it Brilissima? Yes.
Yeah, Brilissima.
Will it be an open kitchen concept as
will
well, or
not
is
be
it
an open
different?
kitchen. No, one thing that I learned here at B. Colson's is all of my cooks, it's really hard to keep them comfortable with the open kitchen concept. They don't have their own AC unit or heating units to keep them warm and cool, depending on if it's summer or winter. And it gets hot back there in the summer. So when we were going through Brilissima and with the architects and the engineers, I was talking with the mechanical engineer, and I'm like, hey, I'm having this problem at B. Colson's. And right off the bat, he's like, it's because your kitchen's open. So,
and any heating or air is going out into the rest of the restaurant.
Exactly right. And because it was an open kitchen concept. But the minute he did that conversation, I'm like, well, guests don't come because I have an open kitchen.
No.
I'm like, and I want to keep my people comfortable. So I'm like, and we closed it in right then. Like, we taught the architect, like, let's close it in. So we closed it in, and that's where we're going to now.
Well, one of the things that I know about, because we're friends, and I'm excited about rooftop dining.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Absolutely. It's going to be great, putting a lot of work into it. When we do first open, the rooftop won't be open at first, because the same thing we did at B. Colson's is I'm going to run at 50% occupancy. So, for example, I got 32 tables. I'm only going to sit 16 tables an hour, which means I'm only going to do 4 tables every 15 minutes. And that's really just to make sure that all of the staff is comfortable before we really start unloading with letting that door be wide open. It helped out a lot here at B. Colson's. We minimized our mistakes. Didn't realize it until after the fact, but it created a demand for people wanting to get in because they couldn't get in.
Exclusivity.
Yeah,
That's
they say
right.
I didn't even think about that, so that was pretty neat. But like I said, the biggest thing is from a business standpoint, you lose money up front, meaning that from the sales, right? But I've seen, and it worked exactly as I thought, is that in the long term, it made us more solid. We didn't have as many bad experiences for people that did come in, and it solidified us to get better quickly. When we did openings, again, like I was talking about with Outback, it was open the doors and hold on.
Buckle your seatbelt.
And you would look at your staff and you would see the look of defeat in their eyes, and you're like, I hope they show up tomorrow.
And everybody wants to do well, and they want guests to have a great experience. But when you're brand new in a restaurant and opening the doors in your kitchen and your wait staff and all the folks, they still have a learning curve. So I think that's very smart. I know I was blessed to be part of B. Colson's early on. I think friends and family invitation. Hint, hint, hint.
Oh, yeah, you'll be getting another one. Absolutely.
I'll be included in Brilissima. But I think you're very smart to do it that way. And like you said, it slows things down on the front end, but it does give your staff that confidence. And the customer has such a better experience.
Absolutely.
Restaurant investment, significant investment of capital and a very big commitment. What gave you the confidence to say, hey, I think we can do this again? Because you've only B. Colson's has been here 3 years this summer?
3 years.
Or the fall?
We'll be complete full 3 years at the end of December.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We're in our 3rd year right now. Yeah.
Okay. So what made you think, let me do this again? Your baby's barely a toddler.
Right. Honestly, we've got great systems in place,
right?
That are here and they work. I have amazing people, and I'd say that's key. I have amazing people. I give them room to grow how they want. I don't want to hold anybody back, and that's really helped us, as far as they're empowered. They have that ownership mentality as well, and it's fun watching them grow. The staff comes up with a lot of different specials and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, let's go with it. Let's check and see. So they understand how to what a plate cost would look like, and how you have to price it out, and where the labor standpoint comes into it, from prepping ingredients, and then also like execution and making sure that you're not having one station that's overwhelmed and another station doesn't have a lot. And a lot of people, they're not in that restaurant business, they might not realize that. And you got to have a balance so that our goal is to sell food in 15 minutes. But if you overwhelm one station, they couldn't get it out till 25, then it doesn't work in a business model. And so, but they've learned that. And it's been really fun to watch them. They're like, hey, well, what about this? What about that? And
can we do it in that 15-minute frame?
Right. Absolutely.
That's cool.
But we have some that might be a little bit longer. Let's say if somebody's trying to get a well-done, really thick porterhouse or something.
Right.
Then we call that back. So before we even ring their food up, but we're getting their appetizers going or salads are getting
You've
ready
already
to
got
go
that
out.
steak on.
That steak's already on.
So it can get to that well done within a timely.
Right. That way it's still, and everything else comes out. Because the whole thing is piecing it all together so it all comes together at one time. That way you don't have one plate that's been ready for 10 minutes.
Right. Sitting under the hot lamp, and it's the quality is depreciating it for every minute and a half that it's there.
100%.
For sure. How important do you think it is for downtown Camden to have a mix of restaurants, retail, living space, rather than just one type of business? And do you feel like the mix that I'm seeing coming to downtown Camden, how is that impacting B. Colson's so far?
It's crucial. I think we all feed off each other. We're bringing people into town. When I'm saying we, I'm talking about our community for downtown. We're bringing people downtown to come visit on the weekends, especially.
So you're seeing folks. I know
100%.
Salou has always, and Sam Kendall's, they've always said that to me. They see.
We come in on a Monday through Thursday. I'll probably know 90% of the restaurant at any point in time because it is mostly locals, Camden, Lugoff, Kershaw County, those kind of things. But on a Friday and Saturday, I might only know 30% of the dining room at any given time. And going around and talking to different people, we pull a lot of people from Columbia and Florence and Sumter, but we're also pulling a lot of people from the south end of Charlotte.
Oh, really?
So that's because they got the south end of Charlotte, they can be here in an hour.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Airbnbs here downtown. We got 2 of them right above the restaurant, so there's places to stay. We've got VIP and them. We're doing a lot more hotels that are making things easier for people to come visit.
And then soon we'll have the
boutique hotel will be here in less than a year.
That's cool.
I think they're shooting for first quarter of 2027, I believe. That's going to be huge. But then with all the restaurants we've got with Silverleaf with the cigar lounge, they've done fantastic.
That's been a nice addition.
The brewery has done well. Of course, all of our shops, our antique shops, the jewelry that we have. It gives people more things to do than just, in my eyes, be just come to eat.
Right.
Or if somebody else would be just to come look at antiques.
Right. They can have a whole day trip.
Right, absolutely.
Or maybe spend the night in one.
Steeplechase still does great.
Yeah.
And they're right there to eat. You've got Loopy Lemon right over there. One of the biggest things that I feel, and I've been a big believer in, is that nobody, in the restaurant world, nobody's competition. And what I mean by that is none of us can serve Kershaw County by ourselves, or nobody can serve Camden by ourselves, and nobody wants to eat the same thing every day, And so it's really good that our restaurant community, I would say for the most part, is we're all there for each other. And I think
offering
that's
some
huge.
diversity.
Yep,
for
exactly
the
right.
customer palate. I mean, like you say, nobody wants to eat the same food over and over and over again 7 days a week.
That's
so
right.
I think that you're exactly right. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm a foodie. I came up, that's how I paid for college, is I catered and bartended. And so I love really good food. And I appreciate that we're getting more diversity. I can't wait for Italian food. I
Absolutely.
really can't. I'm so excited.
Boutique Hotel's going to have another nice restaurant in it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good things going on.
A lot of great things going on. What challenges do you think downtown business owners still face, and where do you see opportunities for continued growth?
I think our biggest opportunity and obstacle is parking.
Yeah.
That's, and I know that, Vincent and them are still trying to work on a couple of things that, they haven't come out yet for all of us to know about, but they're working on it,
That's good.
Because that's what we need. I mean, we've got where they're doing a lot of things where they're closing off downtown so to be able to have some functions that's done really well.
Right.
And, but, with that is you've got to have, for example, the Carolina Cup, the party
The Cup
before,
Fest.
and I think that's going to grow every year and
think
do
so.
fantastic. But parking's probably going to become an issue with that.
Yes.
So that's just something that we're working on to be able to hopefully make more manageable. I would say that's our biggest obstacle.
And opportility. As
Yeah,
you
and
say.
opportunity. Yeah, that's exactly right.
We figure that one out.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So I just say, once we get that worked out, it's going to help out for everybody.
Well, and I always laugh and find it interesting because growing up military, I've lived in some larger metropolitan areas where you just know I'm parking in a garage and I'm going to walk 6 blocks.
Yep.
And here in Camden, we're so spoiled. What do you mean I can't get that front door parking spot?
Exactly right.
So
What do you mean I got to drive and cross the bridge?
Right. It's
The whole
all
3 miles down the
interesting.
road to Lugoff.
I know. It's very, very interesting how perception affects reality for most of us.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do agree with you. I think parking, if we can figure that one out, that'd be a wonderful thing for downtown Camden. As someone who's invested your own capital, not once now, but twice, in 2 different restaurants, what message would you give other entrepreneurs who are considering opening or expanding a business in downtown Camden?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing, know your business. You need to know what you're wanting to run. You need to make sure you can efficiently run it. In the restaurant world, you have a lot of people that are great cooks, but that doesn't mean you can run a restaurant.
Right.
And make sure that it's profitable so you can stay open.
And profit margins, people don't understand, I think, in the restaurant industry are very, very low.
Very
You have
low.
to pennies.
Yep. Absolutely.
You have to manage.
100%. So you need to know your business. But I think even more importantly is that you got to understand that your business is not about you. It's about your community. And so it's what does your community want and need? And that's the business that'll thrive. So, let's say, for example, if in a restaurant world, there's some kind of food you don't like, that doesn't mean that you don't carry it, because other people might love it. For example, B. Colson's, when I did the steak seasoning, I did a couple of different showcases to taste them out and did tastings. And the steak seasoning, we make everything here. So the steak seasoning that we have now, that we've been running since we started with, it wasn't my favorite. I think it was number 3 in
For
my
you,
book.
personally.
But I had everybody vote on it every time, and that one always won. So that was our steak seasoning.
That's what you
know.
went with.
So it's not what we like. It's going to be what does the community want and need. And that's where you go, and I think some people might not realize that at first if they're just starting a business, because they're like, well, I like this, I like that, so this is what I want,
Right.
I think that's probably the biggest part that I would say for anybody starting a business is make sure you have that open mindset and look at everything. It's not just what you want.
But what the market
Exactly
is demanding
right.
or
Because
wanting.
You're not going to be buying your own stuff as much as the rest of the community is,
Right.
and you can't support yourself.
That's true. Very, very good point. Looking ahead 5 years, what would success for downtown Camden look like to you?
Continued growth, people walking the sidewalks, having fun. You're seeing a lot of laughter, just enjoyment, I think a lot of the families coming downtown, it just give it it's already got a great liveness. It's got a good pop already.
I think so too.
But I've told people since we opened, because I'd love to look at a crystal ball just to sort of see what it would look like in 5 years.
What it will be
and,
in 5 years.
But like I said,
And which restaurant Colson will be opening.
That's right. That's right. And we've been open for 2.5 years now, and there's been a lot of growth since then.
Yes.
And it's done really well. And like I said, we talked about a little bit more that's coming. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see and watch grow, especially when you see a lot of other towns that we might have in South Carolina that downtown has died.
Right.
And we haven't let that happen in Camden.
I think we're blessed.
Yeah.
I think we're very, very blessed, and we've had that. I think growth can be sort of up and down with an overall trajectory of up, and I think we've seen periods of time where it's been a little slower, and now it seems to be picking up, and I'm just very excited
Absolutely.
for the future and for the people who live here, my friends and neighbors that I know and love, but also folks who are going to get to experience Camden coming in, like you say, from some of the surrounding areas, South Charlotte, different areas, and learning and experiencing how special
Absolutely.
Camden
Yeah.
and Kershaw County are.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think one of the big things that has really helped us grow in Camden is that we are fortunate enough that with the community involvement's always been big here. That's what I've loved about it.
Me too.
So 'cause I grew up here and I left and came back. But we've got some big players. Some don't even want their names mentioned. We got some big
Right.
players that invest a lot of money into downtown, and we couldn't do it without that. I mean, I couldn't have done B. Colson's by myself. And I had some big players that really
That were willing to step in behind the scenes.
became
and
silent
support
partners,
the
and
effort.
they did it. They were like, and I mean, some of them I didn't even know
Wow.
6 months before, 8 months before, and it was like, hey, here's the opportunity of what I see and where we can be and what we can grow, and they're like, all right, how much do you need? And it
And let's
worked
do
out
it.
that, yeah, and left it at that, but if you were to ask them back then and today, it was like, well, we knew that Scott could do it, which I'm thankful for that. But we knew that Camden needed it, and we were fortunate enough we've made some money that we can invest
In
back
a
into
position
Camden.
to be able to help.
And we couldn't do it without that, And so it's really those people that has helped downtown Camden. And a lot of people don't even know those names.
I think that's wonderful.
It is. It really is. That just shows that they really they're giving back.
I think especially when you've been very successful financially and otherwise, sometimes you lose that.
Yep.
You lose that spirit of giving back, and I'm thankful to know that there are folks in our community who see that and see it as important and have invested. And we're thankful for B. Colson's. I don't know who you are, but thank you.
Absolutely.
And Bralissima, I can't wait for them to open, and the hotel with their restaurant. I mean, I'm just so excited to have more choices.
It is.
And
It's gonna be
fun
great.
things to do in downtown and just overall. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Do we have, I know this is like not a good question to ask, but any idea? I hate to ask because I know when I renovated my house, it was like, oh, it's going to be done in 2 weeks. No, make that 2.5 months or whatever. But any idea when you expect Bralissima to open?
It'll be open before the end of the year.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I say it'll have 2026 on the year for
On
when
the
it
date of
opens.
opening.
So it will happen before the end of the year.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that. And thank you, Colson, for being with us. I can't wait to see how I'm sure you're going to just grow with the business, the family business.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. I sure am.
So we'll look forward to seeing the next generation
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
coming through. So, Scott, Colson, thank you for chatting with me
It's
today.
always so great to see you.
Thanks.